5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We about to have a blast today.
Hello, all you happy people.
Let's do a junkie roll call.
Sound off like you got a pair.
The great Dadakuji.
What country you from?
What?
What ain't no country I ever heard of?
She probably still got an old school TV.
Why do you say this to me?
I'm the only girl, so I wanted to do anything that my brothers were doing.
Oh, yeah, you blend.
She's cute too, huh?
Indeed!
That's fine. Just give us a second.
She with you?
The film was just lazy. Like I said, they like vision.
But you got to have vision.
I'm a big JRPG person.
We've just lost half the audience.
Supposed to be full.
Oh, why?
But he'd have to be fast. I'm your man.
No, you're not. You're too slow.
It ain't just about being fast.
I did not see one Asian in that movie.
Let's not stand on ceremony here.
It's a business. Who cares about the people's feelings?
Aim for the bushes.
I could do this all day.
I got big boy pants on!
What's going on out there in Junkie Land? It's Kenshiro. We're back with Culture Junkies Live. It's Monday. We hope you all had a really great weekend. I know I did, and I believe the Junkies did too, give or take a couple, or two or three. So anyway, today we're going to be talking about the Ghostbusters and whether you guys liked it or you hated it or somewhere in between. And we're also going to talk about Evo in making its big debut on ESPN this past weekend. Saw some really high-end fighting, but I'd love to discuss where esports is going to go from here. So joining me today on the show is Mr. Josh L. from Podcast for All Seasons, and we got Sev joining us. What's checking in? What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, people?
Thanks for having me, as usual.
As usual. Josh, that slogan there is pretty awesome there, brother. What's it say?
Captain America making America fucking great again.
That's right. That's right. Great Dadakuji, what's going on, my friend?
Hello, hello, room, evening, whatever. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Great. And Big Kahuna, what's going on, family?
I am doing well, and I'm sitting here great, and I'm better than everyone.
Hey, you can't be co-opting GQ's stance now. Just because he's here and he's on his way from California. That was a shout out. That was a shout out. That was a shout out. I hear you, but don't need to do all that. It's not necessary. So anyway, guys, let's get to the topic of the day. Oh, by the way, we understand there's a lot of testosterone on this show right now, but joining us is going to be a little bit of estrogen. Dadakuji's wife, Adobo Girl, is going to be joining the show. She's getting set up. She'll be in as soon as she can, and she's going to give her 2 cents on the movie that we're going to talk about right now. Ghostbusters. The Ghostbusters. The reboot. The remake, the relaunch. As you guys know, on Friday I was supposed to take my girlfriend to go see it, and that didn't happen. A lot of stuff happened, but anyway, that's not important. What is important is that some of the other junkies did see it, and they're going to give their 2 cents about the film. So let me get out the way and let them tell you what they thought. We'll start off with Seb. Nope. He made me promise to have him go last. I have him go last. Kahuna, did you see it? Yes or no?
No.
We'll skip you. Josh.
Yes, I did see it. I saw it at Cinemark XD in 3D.
Ooh, nice. And
it was overpriced. I'll tell you that. Just about any movie that you would see is overpriced. About $14.50 for a ticket, which is absurd for a single movie. But for a blockbuster, I thought it was appropriate, and the movie was pretty decent. I'll say it was so much better than I expected it to be. It might as well have been a masterpiece, but it was not a masterpiece. It was about a 7. That's my quick, easy ranking. But the 3D was incredible. It's some of the best 3D that I've seen. I had mentioned in the chat earlier in the week that it had this effect where, the anamorphic screen ratio, the black bars that you typically see in the theater, the 3D would basically break out of those bars in certain scenes. So, they shoot a blaster, and it would go right off screen. It was a very cool effect. It made it seem
I saw
very
pictures of
immersive.
that, and that was pretty cool. They had the frame breaking.
Yeah, it's breaking through the frame. I mean, quite literally fourth wall breaking. It's very, it was a very, very cool effect. I think that's something that could definitely benefit other movies as well. But it was a funny movie. It was it wasn't an absolute knockdown, drag out, laughing my butt off. I saw Central Intelligence the same day. I thought it was a much funnier movie. It did have some jokes, though. Ghostbusters, there were some that hit well. There were others that completely missed the mark. But I thought that the cast did a decent job, and I thought that they felt really comfortable together, and they felt as if they kind of felt like the original crew. They kind of felt like they had all been together for a while, even though they explain that a couple of the crew basically meet in the movie. Actually 2 out of the 4 don't know each other, but they get on very well. They get on very comfortably together. You feel like there's a history. Obviously, some of these actresses have been in other movies together and have acted together, so there's probably some knowledge there. But yeah, I just I thought that the special effects were really good. I thought that the ghost effects were way too colorful. The color palette was like a Katy Perry video, which is a little bit too much at times.
Okay.
But it was pretty. I mean, for lack of a better word, it was pretty special effects. That combined with the 3D was a really neat effect. The movie was much more action oriented. There are some action set pieces at the end which, while cool, they just seem tonally wrong for Ghostbusters. It's too much action. I mean, it's like there's like basically like a ghost fighting scene where they're like really taking down ghosts, and it's really crazy. And I'm assuming we're getting into spoilers here. They all die at the end. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
No. But Chris Hemsworth, he was maybe the highlight of the entire movie. So like, he's no Rick Moranis, the bumbling stupidness that was just hilarious in the first one. But if I had to compare him to someone, I would say he's kind of like Rick Moranis. He's very subtle humor. And I'd say that the subtle humor was the humor that worked the best in this movie. The slapstick stuff didn't work great. And the overt jokes that they were going for were pretty weak, T. Like there's a flirt joke.
All right. Dido, I need your 2 cents before the other half jumps in. What'd you think?
Hey everybody, look, I'm gonna be serious with you. This movie was friggin' awesome. Now, it's not as awesome as the first Ghostbusters movie. Nothing will top that. It was a different time. It was a different style of comedy. You also had different, actors. But for today's generation, it was a well put together movie. Like Josh said, that the cast, they all flow well together, they all work well together. I think the way how the movie, the script was written, how they had the ghost things going on. Granted, the little weasel guy who was going around doing what he was doing to help elevate the whole thing. A lot of people are going to look at that and go, oh, he was a really strong villain. I'm like, you know what? Villains don't have to look strong. They don't have to be Thanos in stature. They have to be like it in brains. And though he looked like a weasel, and he kept underneath the radar. And all good villains they're not all out about, hey guys, look what I'm doing. Smart villains stay underneath the radar. Look at Palpatine. Say what you want about the prequels, but that motherfucker had the shit down pat. Nobody knew what the hell was going on because he was underneath the radar. But regardless of that, I'm not saying this guy was Palpatine by any means, mind you, for all you guys out there. But he was what the movie was worth. It was a little bit too actiony at the end because that's not something that we've seen from Ghostbusters. But then again, this is not the 80s. This is not Bill Murray and Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd. It wasn't trying to be Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, Ernie Hudson, it was not trying to be that. It was trying to be something for today's day, and I think they did a very good job of doing it. Some people are going to have complaints. Some people are not even going to want to go see it, mainly because, it's starring women. Some people are not going to see it because they don't know any of the stars. I don't know half of the friggin' stars that are in most movies nowadays, and I don't give a shit. If I'm gonna watch a movie, I'll critique it after the movie, and that's what I did. I went in with an open mind, didn't see any of the trailers because I will not watch trailers nowadays because they give too much away. Just not doing it. Not gonna do it. You know, great old Dana Carvey, George Bush. I'm just gonna freaking go in. I'm gonna watch the movie, and I'm gonna say, did I like it? Didn't I like it? What did I like about it? And there was a lot for me to like about this movie. And it was mainly I liked the setting, I liked the likable, the characters were likable, and I liked what they had going on with the story. If Ghostbusters did not exist in the 1980s, this right here, even if it was all male, would have been acceptable. So
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, I want to welcome everybody from the Astonishing School of Gifted Nerds. I want to thank everybody from Planet EJOBN and everybody from the Culture Junkies discussion group on Facebook for joining. If you're free out there and not affiliated with any of those groups, we're definitely glad to have you. We are the Culture Junkies, and right now we're talking about Ghostbusters and how we liked it or didn't like it. If you want to get on the show, you want to call in, hit us up on Twitter or message the Facebook page with hashtag Junkies Talk, and we'll get you in. I want to throw it over to Kahuna and get some feedback from Facebook. Dado, hit up Twitch, find out what anybody's saying on Twitch, and Josh, please hit up YouTube and let us know what they're saying over there. So, Kahuna, what's going on in Facebook?
I've got one comment so far from Gabe Cujo. He said it wasn't great at all. LOL.
Okay.
So he's probably gonna like Sev's opinions.
All right, we'll get to Sev in just a minute. Let me get to Josh. What's going on YouTube, Josh?
Jaquint Broaden said that he thought that the villain was, quote, super whack, and that he wished some of the ghosts were a bit scarier. He was no Zool. Now, yes, I will agree. He was no Zool. Zool was terrifying as a kid. I think they were going for a little more family-friendly, but
I have to admit, when I was a kid, I thought Zool looked like Prince. I thought it was Prince at first, anyway. So go ahead.
You're thinking of Gozer.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of Gozer. My bad. My bad. Shh, look at me.
Zool,
Yeah.
Zool was the demon dog.
Zool was the demon dog. Yeah, that's right. Zool was the demon dog. One of the demon dogs. Yeah, and Dado, what's going on over in Twitch?
I hate to say it, but we don't have anybody that has commented it.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I have another comment.
Yes.
Comment in Facebook from Johnny Bronto Lipscomb. I hope I pronounced your last name right.
Probably did.
Name one thing the new movie did better than the original.
Well, it wasn't better than the original, so it's kind of hard to say. It was better than Ghostbusters 2. I mean, 100% better than Ghostbusters 2, but it's not better than the original. It was completely different. So, like, the comedy was completely different. The timing, all that stuff it's just a different movie that has, people busting ghosts. It's not the same movie. It was not even like they took the script and changed it around. It's a different movie.
Yeah, I thought that the effects were decidedly better, but I think that that's just product of the time more than anything.
Okay. Well, guys, I want to first of all, thank you for the comments, everybody out there on Facebook. Keep them coming. We'll come back to you eventually, and we'll be monitoring for anybody that wants to call in and join the show. First of all, I want to welcome in Adobo Girl. She finally joined us and got up and going. If you see her, I need her to turn her phone sideways because she's kind of not orientated right, and I don't want any kind of max headroom situation going on over here. So Adobo Girl, if you can hear me and turn it sideways, then that'll be great, and I'll come to you. Sev, let me get to you and with your comments, what you got to say about Ghostbusters. Let's not get into the whole. We'll save the other part of the comment what we talked about so later. Just tell us about the film.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yes, you do. It's about the whole Paul Feig thing. We'll get to that later. Just talk about the film right now. We'll get to the other parts a little bit later. So, what do you think of the film?
Before I hit that part, a lot of people got suckered into believing that this movie was advocating, girl power and, female empowerment and whatnot, and it was not. The only reason why that got flipped the way it did is because this was the first movie to get as many dislikes as it did, and Sony deleted all of the positive negative comments and kept all the stuff up that was supposed to be chauvinistic and whatnot, which made your common denominator male and female think that most men didn't want to go see because it was an all-female cast, and that was not the case. All right. I thought this movie was average / below average. I really want to get on the Paul Feig thing, but you told me not to. So, but all in all, the film was just average. I didn't have any, bust the gut laughs, and they kind of followed the same trope as any other blockbuster film. At the end, it's a big CGI crap show, and it's like, action that, was just like, okay, like, how is she able to do this? It was inconsistent in some parts too. I don't leave any spoilers for those who still want to go see it, but it's like, I thought it was average. And thing is that, I mean, your moviegoer is average. They're not going to do a lot of thinking for themselves. So it's, people are going to enjoy it because it was, the jokes to me were hit and miss. It was just average, man. It was just average. I mean, most people will probably forget this movie in a matter of a week. Like, once whatever's coming out next week comes out, and people, it's a forgettable film as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it wasn't clever, didn't do anything new, but so I'll just leave it at that until I'm allowed to talk about my major point about why the film sucked. Well, not sucked, well, just average / below average. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. So I have a few questions for you guys, and we'll get to, for the ones that have seen the film already. Would you, and Sev, let's leave the whole other part of this thing out. Like I said, I know you know a little bit more. You've gotten a little more deep into this thing. Would you see a film based on this cast? Would you see a sequel to this film? Do you think they've done what they accomplished and successfully rebooted the franchise enough that makes you want to come back and watch more?
Well, what does the box office number say? What did they gross this weekend?
What they grossed this weekend, from what I saw, I think it was like only $42 million on a $114 million budget. That's
okay, and what about overseas?
Overseas, it's a paltry, like 1.2. It's not even really all that big, to be honest.
Okay, all right. Here's the thing. They need a new writer and they need a new director that actually cares about the content at hand.
Okay.
If they can get a new writer and a new director and a new producer that is not Amy Pascal to work on this film and whatnot, I believe it still has a chance.
Okay. So you give it a chance if it had a little bit more of a reworking. Is that what you're kind of saying?
It needs Paul Feig needs to disappear off this project.
All right. Josh, would you see this film with the same cast? Would you see a sequel?
Yeah, I mean, based on the existing film, I'd see a sequel. As you were mentioning sequels, it kind of popped into my head a movie that's kind of comparable to this. It reminds me kind of, let's say, 21 Jump Street remake. Mm-hmm. Shades to the old film. It's funny in a 2016 kind of way, and it was funny enough to maybe win some fans and bring it back. But yeah, the box office was pretty abysmal. 46 million was the final number. It didn't even come in number 1. It came in number 2 to The Secret Life of Pets at 50 million. Mm-hmm. It's not opening in China, which is the second biggest foreign market. Its foreign bring-in was absolutely abysmal. It was 18 million. Now, it might not have opened up in all foreign markets. I don't know that exactly, but I'd say that it's very possible this thing could get maybe 2 weeks of runtime and be dead in the water, like Sev thinks it maybe should be. I don't know. But I thought it was.
Not thinks, sir. Not thinks. It will. It will.
No, you're probably right. No, you're probably right. It'll probably go 2 weeks, maybe 3, and get some decent box office. It'll probably crack 150 million if I had to guess. And, that's it. You know what I think is going to happen, honestly? I think the people who do not want to see this movie and pay $9, they're going to see this on a daytime matinee on their day off.
Okay.
And the movie's going to make a lot less money.
Okay. Real quick, guys, I want to get to some of the comments on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch if we have any on Twitch. Kahuna, hit Facebook for me. What's everybody saying out there?
Johnny Bronto says, did McKinnon actually have a script, or did the director just tell her to act weird every time the camera was on her? And McKinnon, for those who know, McKinnon is the one that played she was like the engineer that wore the glasses that built all the stuff. So I guess you guys can answer. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know if that was a real question or.
No, I mean, it was. I see what he's saying though, because like it was kind of weird. Like almost everything that she was on screen, it kind of felt like it was just like she was one of those extremely weird type people. Like everybody knows one of them.
Yeah, and I said that in from the trailers. I remember when we talked about this in the past. I said that she was going to be the one that was kind of like out there because I could tell in the trailers that's how she was going to act.
I didn't get the accent either.
Accent? There was an accent?
Well, it came off as if she was trying to do this weird, I don't know, like Norwegian or German thing. Like she didn't keep it up through the whole movie, but there were times I was like, why is she talking like that? Okay, maybe it's just me then.
Right.
She came across to me as like uber femme hipster Egon.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like she would be.
Like if Egon was a little bit cooler,
yeah,
and a female in 2016 and a hipster,
cool as hell.
Just like her, exactly like her.
Any more comments on Facebook?
We got more comments. We got Kenshiro's girlfriend. You know, he likes to say that, so that's what I'm going to say too.
Shut up.
If the women were more physically appealing, would you say that there would be less criticism and more praise / views from male viewers and male fans of the original?
I would have to say no. Matter of fact, if they were all beautiful and nice bodies or not, it would have actually made it worse and whatnot. They weren't given much to work with script-wise. That's just one of the bottom lines here, man. I mean, like the script and the writing was just weak sauce. It just was.
Okay.
And Jim Nava. He just commented. He said bust, and I'm guessing he's referring to what the box office numbers.
No, he was saying I posed a question when I shared. I said, was Ghostbusters a boom or a bust? And he says it's a bust.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And Johnny Brano commented again. He did I did a matinee.
Okay. What's going on over in YouTube, Josh?
Actually, not a ton. Hannibal Mega says people are too busy farming and playing Yahtzee. I think people are too busy playing playing Yahtzee on Facebook.
This guy is Yahtzee.
He's so funny. No, the honest opinion is too many damn people are probably playing Pokemon Go.
Right.
That's what's going on.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So, as promised, we're gonna have a little bit less testosterone. Adobo Girl's on the scene. What's up, girlfriend? How you doing? Come on, say something. Uh-oh. Looks like she's got to unplug and replug in her mic because we can't hear her. But trust me, she is there. Maybe like I said, if she unplugs and plugs back in her mic. She's been having some technical difficulties. She wants to get in on the show so bad. She's got something to say. She's got plenty to say. Trust me, she's got plenty to say. So, guys, okay. So
just a question.
Yes.
Just tell her to go over to Dido's thing. They can just share it.
Yes, if push comes to shove, that would definitely have to happen. Now, here's something that also I'm wondering. Okay, did you find them? Okay, one of my problems with the movie, with the approach of the film. Okay, I think it was well documented what I said about my disdain for the way Leslie Jones was going to be portrayed. She was going to be portrayed as the stereotypical loud, boisterous, black woman, and that wasn't, intelligent. Okay, that part bothered me. So I guess what I'm asking is, as far as the roles and the way things were being portrayed, as far as the characters go, how did you guys feel like they did? Do you feel like they were still kind of being cast as some stereotypes? Did they play it for cliche? What did you think?
I don't think they did with Leslie Jones what you're saying completely. You know, she was a working woman. She worked in, the subway, what have you. And they didn't have her being a scientist, unfortunately, but she was very intelligent in her own right. Most definitely. She didn't come off as, the loud, know-it-all, you're not going to do this type. That's not what I saw. Not what I saw at all.
Okay,
So,
I'll take that.
I was actually kind of pleased with it. I would have been more happy if she was a scientist and they just did a complete role reversal. I think that would have been cool, but I don't think they really portrayed her as being like how they they did in the past.
Was she like a street smarts kind of?
She was actually smart. She knew the history of New York. She knew about New York and the buildings. Like they were asking about one of the buildings that had the hauntings in it, and she knew the complete history of the building of what before the building was even there. She knew like what happened to people like natives that lived in that land and whatnot. And to me, that wouldn't have been somebody that's like, I just know New York and blah blah. No, it wasn't. I personally didn't think it didn't come off like that to me.
Okay.
So,
I actually kind of agree with Dot on that because she wasn't her super loud, obnoxious Saturday Night Live character that I was expecting her to be. However, this goes back to what I'm going to say in maybe a couple of minutes or whatnot, is that if this was really about, empowering the female and whatnot, they would have switched her role with Melissa McCarthy like it was written the first time. Like I said, she wasn't that annoying, but, there was still a couple, like, oh, hell no. There was still some of that in there, but it wasn't overbearing to the point to where you was like, wow, they got her acting like a cocoon in the movie and whatnot. It's just that I would have been more happy if they would have had Melissa McCarthy as a street art and would have had her at the time. But it just back to that, this had nothing to do with the whole female empowerment thing. That's just the way Paul Feig wrote it. I'm gonna tear him a new one as soon as you let me.
All right. We'll get to that in a second, but as promised, hopefully, finally, Adobe Girl's got all her stuff in order. Are you there?
Okay, guys. Can you
all right,
hear me?
there she is. Yeah, there she is. All right, there it is. All right. So, Adobe Girl, quickly, very quickly, because it's late. We got other stuff we got to talk about. I want to hear what you thought about the film. So, you have the floor. Go ahead and talk.
Dude, I liked it. I mean, it's better than what I expected. I kind of expected something that was just like feminist grating almost, but this was actually a breath of fresh air because in my opinion, okay, I didn't hear what you guys said because I was trying to get all this stuff, set up. But in my opinion, my humble opinion, I liked it. The characters were more developed, and the men were actually kind of just one-dimensional, which is funny to me. Like the
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, I don't want. Did you guys spoil it already? I don't want to really spoil it for anybody, but it was funny, and it was funny, and it was. I laughed. I liked it. It was like on par, like in my opinion, with humor-wise, like Central Intelligence. You got some I don't know slapstick, but it was just like funny humor. Like I like that kind of comedy. I almost wished Amy Schumer was in that movie. Honestly, it could have almost just that kind of humor. I mean.
Okay. All right, I can see that. So do you think? And I know maybe this isn't necessarily fair to ask because I think you're kind of I don't want to say you're in the tank for this film, but do you feel like the film did everything that it set out to do? Did you feel like any of the women were cast in some kind of a little bit of a stereotype, or did you feel like they were original enough that they fed you enough that you didn't expect? Granted that you don't necessarily get to see a lot of films all the time, but do you feel like they did everything that you were looking for?
Yeah, I mean, it surpassed my expectations. I thought Leslie Jones was gonna go soul plane. I thought she was.
Oh wow!
I thought they were gonna do that to her because that's what Hollywood does unfortunately, they caricaturize people. And even though she had a bunch of like I would cliches like girl, what have you, stuff like that, she was still intelligent and she still contributed to the group. And I like that she could still be quote unquote black and still be intelligent. And that to me is refreshing. That's just, I mean, yeah, it could have been done better, but it's still, in my opinion, it's a solid step in the right direction. I felt empowered. I felt represented. Kind of not really. There's not many Asians on this film. There's one South Asian, but I mean, what have you? I as a female, and I can't speak for everybody, but it was refreshing to see characters that were more than just, oh, she's a slut, oh, she's stupid, oh, she's urban/ghetto, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It was more like, oh, she's conflicted, she's trying to make this or whatever, and you could see how they were. They weren't just flat. They're a little bit more, dimensional. I don't know how to explain it, but that's just how I feel. And I hope that Hollywood continues to make films that bring women characters and in roles like this. Like it's kind of like Mad Max. I enjoyed Mad Max. I felt empowered as a woman. Like, all right, we're badass. When I was watching Ghostbusters, all I kept thinking is, don't cross the streams. I mean, I was in it. I was like, yeah, like, hey, I can be a Ghostbuster. What I want to know is how many little girls now are going to be dressed up as Ghostbusters this year.
A very good question. A very good question.
Yes.
So real quick, everybody, we have at least one person on the queue getting ready to call in. Oh, it's funny I said that. Q's getting ready to call in. And Dido, I need you to get that ready for me. But first, Kahuna, what's going on over there on Facebook, my friend?
Johnny said, I think that the movie would have been better if it would have connected to the original. The cameos were kind of dumb and really forced. And Johnny's pretty active in the comments.
Good.
Shout out to Johnny. Yeah, shout out to Johnny. Plot device. The characters were mind wiped after the events of 2. As well as all of New York. He's probably referencing something that we were talking about earlier. He also agreed with if Amy Schumer would have been in it. And Kenshiro's girlfriend says, yes, Nanette.
She's
right.
Dado, you ready with that number, my friend?
And I hate that I had to say that damn word.
Sure. Right. Yes. All right, hit it, man. Let's get him in.
Hello.
Hey, yo, Q, what's up, man?
Oh, what up, man?
How you doing?
Oh, chilling. How you doing, man?
We're good. So tell us real quick, what's your assessment of the film?
My assessment of the film, I think it was an okay film. I think the third act of the movie is kind of a mess, though. I think the ghosts. I think the ghosts are still a little bit too colorful, and I think Paul Feig just doesn't know how to handle action right yet. Yeah, I think he was throwing out too many jokes. I think some of the jokes were really funny, but some of the jokes just didn't land. And then, that's what I had a problem with. I don't have a problem with the female cast. I think all the casts are fine. Leslie Jones, I think the one scientist, I forget her name, the Egon one, I thought she was the best character out of the whole movie because she felt like a Ghostbuster because she was so weird and she felt like a true Ghostbuster. But the movie overall is okay. I don't see a lot of repeat viewing for this movie though. I think it's going to lose its legs within like the next week or so. But overall, I thought it was straight. I gave it like a 6 out of 10. I'll rather, I'll see another sequel with these women in it, though. I just wish the director was different, though. But
okay,
overall it's fine.
Okay, good. And you said you filmed your review, didn't you? You put it up there yet?
Yeah, I'm editing it right now as we speak. So I'm putting my review up there. Yeah, because Ghostbusters what got me into film. I love Ghostbusters, and I love the lore. And you know, and this movie just kind of lost the mythology a little bit. When you're punching ghosts and they're exploding, when you got Slimer and his girlfriend driving the car, it got kind of ridiculous. But you know, I'm from the old school, so I really loved, you know, the original. Not to take anything away from these new girls, because I think they did great. I just think the director lost his footing a little bit, and made me give him another try on the next one. If, you know, if the box office can sustain it.
Well, that time will tell definitely on that. Good job on your first call in, my friend Q. You know, if push comes, I mean, nobody really knows, but Q did the logo for the pull list for us. He's doing some other stuff, so he's going to kind of become a junkie contributor, and we're glad to have him on board. So I'll go ahead now ask him the relevant question that I ask everybody that calls into this show. What kind of junkie are you?
Oh yeah, I'm a full culture junkie, movie junkie, comic junkie, comic book junkie. I'm the whole nine, toy junkie. You know, I'm saying I've been here since as far as I can remember, and I'm glad to be a part of tuning in every week to watch this awesome show, because you guys are just like me, and it's glad to see you know, people like you around.
Hey, thank you, my friend. We definitely appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Catch you on the flip side, my friend. We'll get lunch this week sometime.
Oh, bet.
All right, man. See you later. All right. That was my boy Q. He's a good kid. He's a good cat, man. Dr.
I'm glad he said that about McKinnon's character too, because I said that in previous shows when we were having our like predictions about the show, and I said that I thought she was gonna be like the standout character.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah. So now I'm going, because I promised I'd do it, and I'm gonna let him run. Sev has a lot that he wants to get off of his chest about this film. Sev, it is your turn. Go ham.
Release
brother.
the Kraken.
Yep, release the Kraken. Go ham.
All right. Let's focus on the man behind the camera, Mr. Paul Feig. All right. Now, this is public knowledge. You just got to know where to look to get it. He wasn't trying to hide it. He's going on record saying that he does not like men. He is not a fan of the human male species and whatnot. Apparently, he got picked on a lot as a kid. I'm like, most kids did and whatnot. He was raised by women, from what he said and whatnot, so he really doesn't like men a lot. And it shows in the writing in this film, because what Adobo Girl said, you know, how he writes a lot of characters one-dimensional, and some of the writing on the male characters is just complete. I mean, it's just completely off the wall. It's like, okay, yeah, I know guys can be jerks, like the whole human race can, but the way he wrote them to act in some of the scenes was just like no human being in their right mind would do or say that. Like me and Dotto were discussing yesterday about the dean of schools and how when he stuck his thumb in his mouth and blew it up and he's flipping her off multiple times, and I'm like, no dean or respected university would do that in fear of him losing his job. So like, you writing the character like that, it's just juvenile. Then he had a article in Variety magazine a while ago. I think this is when Bridesmaids film was. He wrote an article about how men aren't funny, and that women are more funnier than men, and because men in the end always have to resort to like dick jokes and fart jokes and talking about their dicks and whatnot. And I find that to be very ironic, because he kind of wrote a lot of the jokes about, you know, fart jokes and pissing and, you know, shooting things and then the dick here. So I'm just like, you're saying men are funny, so I guess you're saying you're not funny because you wrote the film kind of, you know, it, to me it was like the average low-brow comedy. Now, no, this is the person that likes The Waterboy, so I mean, but that was when I was younger. I can still watch. Now it's just that I don't feel that his writing truly captured the essence of what Ghostbusters was. And something that Dido said earlier when he was talking about the film is that, you know, it was kind of written for 2016. Most of these millennials have low expectations, want everything handed to them and whatnot. So, I mean, if that's the audience that he was aiming for, maybe he succeeded. I don't know. It's just that the second film needs to be a little bit more intelligent with its comedic timing and the overall source material, because I mean, he didn't write anything new here. For him to say that this is going to be, you know, my interpretation of Ghostbusters, yet you borrowed so much from the first film, it isn't even funny. And to the guy who made the comment about the forced cameos, he's right. They were forced, because Amy Pascal and Paul Feig took legal action and threatened to sue Bill Murray and Ernie Hudson and everybody else if they did not appear into the film. So those cameos were forced. So yeah, see, so you make them be in the movie to pay homage to the original when you say that you're trying to do your own thing. So it's like there's so much contradiction here and whatnot. So that's why the cameo stuff works. Like, okay, what I do, blah, 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 blah. And it's just for you to have to strong arm the original cast into being in the movie, that was a real low ball move. And so that's why they were in the film, because they didn't want to have any part of it. Even Ivan Reitman, his executive producer title on the film is just that, entitlement, because he was basically boxed out of the film and whatnot. He was supposed to direct it, but they kept finding ways to kind of like squeeze him out of the picture and whatnot. And so, just to be nice, we'll say he's the second producer, but he had absolutely nothing to do with this film. So that's another reason why I can't really give it any glowing review or not, because you guys didn't even respect the original creator of the source material. Now you basically pushed him out of the way to write the film that you wanted and whatnot, and this was the end result and whatnot. Like I said, it's not great and it's not terrible. It's just average. So if they do manage to eke out enough money at the box office and whatnot, and if they do number 2 or not, just leave Paul Feig out of it, man. He doesn't know what he's doing. I believe in second chances, just not for this guy, for the way that he treated Ivan Reitman and forced the other the other actors from the original film to be in this movie. That's a real dick move, man. And if I ever see you on the street, I'm gonna jack you up.
Okay then.
I'm serious, man.
Thank you for sharing all that. We appreciate it.
And you know what? That was good insight though, because I didn't know. It makes more sense now to why he makes all these.
Yeah, because he doesn't like
women casted movies.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna finish off this topic really fast. Double Girl, I definitely thank you for putting in your 2 cents. It is very much welcome, especially in this vein, in this arena. I'm not sure if you want to stick around and talk about the latter half of what we're getting ready to get into, but you're more than welcome to do so if you.
Yeah, I'll stick around.
Okay,
I'll stick around.
Great. So real quick before I bust off into the second topic, I definitely want to thank everybody for joining the show so far. We're the Culture Junkies, and we've been talking about Ghostbusters. If you saw the film, do put it in the comments. Let us know what you thought. Like and share this film. Be also on the lookout for the Movies with Megashawn review at some point in the future for the Ghostbusters. I don't know when he's going to see it. He should be seeing it pretty soon. But definitely be looking out for that. Before I switch it up, let's hit the Facebook and YouTube and Twitch comments one last time before we move on. Hit it, Kahuna.
From Kenshiro's girlfriend. She said, "Oh, you look handsome." He.
Thank you, babe. I appreciate it.
Aww.
Shut up.
It's like a puppy holding a kitten.
Dude, she has a name though.
Keep it pushing, man. Keep it pushing. Anything else over there on Facebook?
There's some pretty funny stuff over in YouTube, I will say.
Please do hit it. Thank you. Please hit it. Thank you.
So Jaquint brought in. He is lighting it up. First things first, he said that the very first joke in the movie was essentially a queef joke.
Ooh,
and
okay.
I mean, it really was. And so there's that. Another thing is that he mentioned specifically, which I totally forgot, they shoot a ghost in the dick, and that's how they bring him down. It's very.
See, I wasn't gonna say that because it was a spoiler, but again, it shows back to the whole, the man behind the camera. So.
Well, I mean, it's a very classic thing for women in movies, especially in action movies. A woman has to take down the bigger threat. Get him in the nads, right? It's a classic thing. So, okay, a gigantic ghost, shoot him in the dick, right? I mean, it's pretty humorous, but with what you said, if all of what you said is valid and accurate, then I mean, it definitely speaks to a bent that Paul Feig has. But Yeah, I would say that you know, there's definitely some pretty strange stuff going on as far as that's concerned. But there's a lot more going on in the chat that's not really Ghostbusters related. But
Leave it
there's
aside. Leave it
yeah.
aside. Dido, anything going on over on Twitch?
Well, I'm going to have to say this. Everybody out there in Junkie Land, we don't have anybody in Twitch, and that is because we need for you, all of you, to share this on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr. I don't care what it is. If it's social, if it's Pokemon, and you like our show, share and let everybody know.
Thank you.
Because I
Hey,
don't
that
have anything
rhymed.
else to say. There's nobody on Twitch.
That's all right. That's all right. That's good. Thank you for that little promo. So let's hit the second part of the show real quick. We don't have much time, but I don't think we're going to need too much time to devote it to it, and maybe we'll hit it on a future show, maybe I don't know, Wednesday or something like that. But Evo Fighting Championships happened over the weekend also, and the big deal this time was that Evo was broadcast on ESPN on Sunday night. That wasn't the entire. Championships. It was definitely, you know, a bigger stage than they've ever been on. And from what I heard, the increased exposure and the money poured into Evo, it actually really showed. So Sev actually got to watch some of Evo this weekend. I don't know if you did too, Dido. So Sev, why don't you tell us exactly what happened on the Evo Fighting Championships this past weekend?
Well, I'm gonna mention the one funny thing is that this dude named New York City Chris G and whatnot. I've seen him play. He's good. His team is cheap. Marvel's Capcom 3, but you know you gotta play to win. So he wins first place, and this guy comes up on the stage. This black kid with dreads and his shirt off, and he's got his PlayStation 4 controller in his hand, and he gets up in his face and tells Chris G to play him in the game. He was kindly escorted off by security and whatnot, but I don't know whether I just thought it was funny. It was some good fighting going on, but it's like you kind of wanted to wait until they got to the semifinals and then the quarterfinals and then the grand finals. Sadly though, the show kind of came down a bit for me because a lot of companies was announcing their DLC for their fighting games, and Capcom really took the cake because it was some exclusive DLC for people who only attended Evo. They'll probably release later, but I mean, like, they had this huge trailer for DLC, these special Capcom Pro Tour costumes. It just blue and yellow variants, and it was just, my heart sank, man. I was just like,
well, that's good and all, but what about the
no,
actual?
it's not good.
No. I mean, I understand what you're saying. That, you know, I understand your frustration with Capcom, and it's been very well voiced on this show. But what about the actual event itself? I mean, you got so caught off with the other stuff. I mean, did you enjoy it? Was it great being on that big stage?
I did enjoy it. However, the anime fighting games kind of got shafted because they focused more on the stuff they focused more on Marvel's Capcom 3, Street Fighter 5, Tekken 7, and Smash Brothers and whatnot. They didn't show any anime fighting games until it got to the quarterfinals and grand finals.
That's where the money is, though.
And I know that, man. But still, it's just that if you're gonna have a live stream, and you guys, I'm sure they had more than enough cameras to cover everything and whatnot. So they only had like 4 channels with the main games. I'm like, I really wanted to see the other, because I'm really more into the art style of the anime fighting games than Street Fighter. I don't like the art style in Street Fighter 5. I never have and whatnot. But I thought that was kind of bold that System Artworks and the other guys who did Blast Blue kind of got shafted, and their game didn't get broadcasted as much as the other guys did and whatnot. So shame on you, whoever ran that tournament. Shame on you.
Okay. Did anybody else get to see Evo this weekend on ESPN? I think GQ tuned in a little bit. Let me put that out there real quick first. Did anybody else see it and want to give their feelings about it?
I unfortunately did not, because when I did not do the ESPN because unfortunately I don't have cable. I went to Twitch to look at stuff, and it's very convoluted on Twitch because I went to the channel that had the most viewers, and they were on a break. And then when I went back another time, they they were just like in the setup phase where they were like people. The cameras were just on the people sitting down, and
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on too.
that right there kind of turned me off because like every time I flip onto it, there's nobody fighting.
See,
and I was
I had two monitors. I had the monitor Evo and I was playing video games. So then, like when it would start, I would just pause the game and then just go watch the tournament. So.
And see, I might have done that, but yesterday I spent my day with the Detroit Kickball Association, and if any of you guys out there are watching, shout out to those guys because they actually do some good work here in Detroit, and they're trying to get people in the Culture Junkies to come out and join them, and maybe if they do, might grow our family of Culture Junkies. Well, just so you know.
Okay, sure. I'll think about that. I need to be more active anyway. So, sticking strictly to the topic, and we got a few more minutes left. Seeing Evo on that stage, right? Evo is considered the granddaddy of all fighting game championships right now. We know there are definitely plenty other tournaments out there that probably could end up rivaling Evo at some point, for whatever reasons. But what's next for esports as far as like, fighting game championships? Are we going to see this thing like, because, back when Spike was a channel and it kind of used to be a big thing, are we going to see more of these, or is it still going to be more centered around on the internet and the way it's done on the internet? Because I guess what I'm asking is the amount of money that was poured into this Evo championships, with being on the stage and having sponsors and saying only the sponsors' games got played and got broadcast and got showed. What's this going to do for esports? I mean, because honestly, everybody else being on that stage and being exposed like that, they could look at this as being like this is their shot at superstardom. What do you guys think?
Well, it might be.
Go ahead, man.
I'm just saying they're out there. They're testing the waters. They're trying to see if it's viable to be on ESPN, and if people are actually going to go out there and look at it. And I think it's something. If NASCAR can take off, and it's just people watching somebody inside a machine drive around a track, then they can have somebody who's playing also on the machine, using their skill to for entertainment. So I think it'd be kind of cool. But when they start doing the NASCAR video game, that's when they kind of lost it. It's people watching somebody play NASCAR on their Xbox or whatever. Then, but right now I think it's. I hope they continue to go forth, but it's not going to be where you're going to see the Aquapazas or the Guilty Gear extra. Unfortunately, I don't agree with it, but it's where the money at. And though Capcom may not be doing what we like them to do, they got the money to back, Street Fighter 5, and Namco has money to back Tekken 7. Those are big boys, NFL, NHL, and NBA. Those are big boys. You don't know about the smaller, factions of football around here. I really like football. Yeah. So it's just the big boys got the big money, so that's what we're gonna know about. But hopefully it'll bring more people in.
See, I find it interesting because like this was just for like the fighting game scene. Like the esports scene is already big and whatnot. I mean, if you ever watch the LCS, which is like the League of Legends tournaments, like when they be over in France and China, Korea, they be in stadiums and they don't sell them out, but they're pretty full, so whatnot. So it's interesting to see where it's going to go. I predict illegal gambling rings following. Wait a minute, that's already happened. Never mind. So I can't say the gambling rings because that's already happening and whatnot. But I think the fighting game community, I think that it's going to grow. I also think that probably maybe more companies try and like get a fighting game out. We might see a comeback of Primal Rage.
Oh, that was my game though, man. I loved Primal Rage.
Primal Rage. Preparation H. I'm like, what? The sponsor's gonna be Preparation H. You can come out with your jacket on. You about to come out and play. Have all the sponsors on your jacket and whatnot.
Oh man.
There were a couple of sponsored players from teams like Evil Geniuses and Curse and whatnot. Like so, like they had some of their guys out there because I know. Justin Wong, I think, is with the Evil Genius team or not, but he didn't. I think he got like 4th or 5th overall in Capcom 3, and he didn't even place in Street Fighter 5. So it was a lot of new faces.
Wow.
And one kid lost his sponsorship because apparently he was groping some girl in her sleep and whatnot. and it got out. So the kid was from Mexico, and poor bastard got his sponsor revoked, and he got kicked off of the team that he was on. So there goes I think he's been banned for like a year or something like that. So I'm just like, man, keep your hands in. You got enough money, man. If it's really that serious.
Yeah,
Lord,
don't,
no.
Deb, don't go there. Don't go there.
Yeah, it's the thing is that just keep your hands to yourself, man. If she does not say yes, put your hands all over my body, then don't do it, man, because he had his whole career riding on this, and because she decided to go back and tell people and whatnot, and it got back to his sponsors and the guy who his manager was like, you're off the team. That happened to another kid this year too. It's like stop playing. Just stop it, man. Keep your hands to yourself, man.
Right. Yep. Just keep your hands to yourself. So
you have money to get a network, right?
Yeah. So I mean, at one point, all of us we tried putting together a fighting game thing, and I think it might be time for us to revisit that.
It is definitely time to
revisit that.
Most definitely.
I think the ideas that we had and the way we were going to do it could possibly revolutionize the scene. If executed and supported correctly, I think it could be pretty neat. So but we got lots of ideas. There's other stuff that we want to do, too, as far as like putting together social fun events and stuff like that. Speaking of social fun events, that's a nice little segue I just did there. This Friday, we're not going to do a show because we're going to see Star Trek at the MJR Epic Theater. The time has not been announced yet, but I'm going to be setting up the page. So if you are interested, if you are in the Southeast Michigan area and you want to join us and go and watch Star Trek with us together at the MJR Epic Experience, do follow us on Facebook and find the event page. It'll be under our events tab. It'll be there before the end of the night, I promise you. But anyway, great show, guys. We hope you all enjoyed the discussion. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank you all for sharing your thoughts and your opinions. For everybody on the show, for Dido Kuji, for Josh, for Big Kahuna, for Sev, and for the lovely Adobo Girl for sharing her thoughts. I'm Kishiro. We'll see you guys on Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Find us on YouTube and watch some of our previous videos like Game, Movies of Megashawn, Top 5, and What's in the Box. I will see you guys on Wednesday. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bisquick!
Well, bye.
Bye, everybody.
Get out there and catch some Pokemon.
Bisquick?
Catch them all. Catch them all.
Bisquick, though? Bisquick? Really?
It's a waste of the phone battery.